I'm 17 years old, and my dad is sternly yelling my name to come downstairs. I rush down to the living room, but before I can even sit down, another lecture starts. Dana, you can only choose one of 3 things to do with your time: school, extracurricular activities, or social life. My ability to answer was obviously rhetorical, because before I could even respond, my dad answered for me. It was school. I had to do well in school. I sat there so confused. I thought I was balancing everything just fine, but my dad didn't think it was sustainable for me to continue this way. It was important to him that I stay under the radar and don't go above and beyond on anything that didn't move me towards financial stability. My immigrant parents were refugees, forced out of their country at the end of the Vietnam War. Trekking across the sea, they were uncertain whether or not they would survive on a boat with people packed in like sardines. They didn't know which country would take them in or what their future could hold. As a result, they became resilient, and to them, safety meant keeping your head down and focusing on survival. In hearing what he had to say, I could feel my body get warmer and my anger grow. I can understand why my parents believe I should play it safe and walk the tried and true path that had been handed to me from all the hard work that they've done. But what if they were wrong? What if instead of giving parts of myself to achieve one thing, I could harness all the parts of myself to achieve a bigger dream? What if the secret of unlocking my version of success was to do more and experience more? My name is Dana Lay, and I'm a healthcare innovation expert. I'm the CEO and founder of Wander Health, an international care companion startup that helps travelers get access to healthcare when they're abroad. I was recently recognized on the Forbes 30 Under 30 list for being one of the brightest young innovators. I've spent my career creating valuable initiatives to improve healthcare from the business lens. And I spent my life chasing after my goals and my interests that both challenged me physically and creatively. That's why I've been able to be an entrepreneur, fashion model, and boxing coach, all at the same time. I was at UT Austin, where I started to discover my new passion for the business of healthcare. But unfortunately, it was because I went through 2 vehicle accidents, got a concussion, broke my nose, while all having to deal with new doctors and hospitals constantly every semester, retold my same medical issues over and over again to different medical professionals, and got surprise bills with more zeros than I was quoted. I was so frustrated. I wondered, what if it didn't have to be this way? What could I do to fix it? So I started to scroll obsessively through the career board listings, with my parents' security first mindset starting to kick in and graduation looming around the corner. I started to feel disappointed and scared when nothing I wanted popped up. I guess my dream wasn't ready for me to pursue just yet. So I stuck with the tried and true path. I felt desperate for a job. So I followed the lead of many of my other business students and applied to over a dozen consulting jobs. But each time, I was met with disappointment. No offers. None. I felt so embarrassed. Why did I work so hard in college not to even get a job that I didn't really even want? But then it clicked. What if instead of waiting for an opportunity to come my way, I can just create one myself? After 4 months of navigating a new environment, pitching my idea, and convincing leadership in different departments to dedicate resources to this, I built a launch pad for my fellow peers to learn and construct new initiatives within the health administration space. The Community Ventures program that I co-founded in conjunction with Dell Medical School has had over 360 people participate to date, leading hands-on projects to improve the health of the city of Austin. By not continuing down this tried and true path, I found a new way to achieve my genuine goals, became a leader, and paved the way for others to turn their what-ifs into reality. And hey, I know my goals are my goals, but what I'll talk about today can be applied to anybody who feels that they have too much on their plate, but dreams to chase. I want to give you a tip about how you can create your own opportunities. Think of your time as currency, integrate intentionality into your actions, and press pause to recharge your power bank. While we may incessantly hear the adage, time is money, I believe that time is the most valuable currency. The way we spend it can actually produce dividends. So to make sure that our time goes far, we should invest it into things that we personally value. So then we can become richer in experiences. Last year, I left an organization that I built from the ground up. It was a global consortium of more than 30 children's hospitals from around the world, all interested in advancing innovation. I managed some of the most prominent digital health accelerators. It was truly transforming this country's industry. It wasn't until I was shaking hands on the next deal that I realized my impact can only stretch as far as the next batch of companies, or as far as the next batch of hospitals. The small voice in my head kept asking, is this what you want to do with your time? I guess my what if became a what's next. But just like I did in college, I started a new venture while juggling everything else I had on my plate. Opened a new door for myself and started a new company to tackle travel health. I began to understand that I had to divide my time in a way that let me balance what I loved most and not overvalue some of the other things that I needed. Picking what you want to do for a living and choosing to learn something new are intellectually stimulating activities. Since these tasks take up the majority of most people's time, they can make all the difference in deciding whether we dread our day or look forward to what's in store. Having a workout routine and expressing ourselves through music and fashion are great ways to be movement-oriented and do things that are creatively energizing. Through these activities, we're able to stimulate clarity and positive mindsets, which in turn can give us the energy to seize the day. Finally, making time to take care of others by showing up for friends and relationships for those big and small moments, and taking care of ourselves by indulging in a meal or trip that you've been looking forward to, are essential to completing a truly well-balanced life. By using these buckets, I started feeling more fulfillment in my life as I was curating exactly how I wanted to use my time. You then have to make a decision on what is noise and what's going to get you to that next step. You learn to be intentional. I didn't know what this meant back in high school. I remember back then, my friends would tease me all the time for stressing about everything. I did so much that I couldn't even list it on a one-page resume as a high schooler. So as a way to try and avoid the reality of how much stress I was putting myself through and how tired I felt every single day, I joked about it too. But little did people know that this constant uphill battle was causing me to have stress-related health issues. My anxiety attacks were so bad that I'd often find myself hyperventilating, my heart beating so fast that I thought that it would explode out of my chest. Trying to do everything without intentionality won't get you ahead of the pack or make you feel bigger or better about yourself. Instead, it will only lead to burnout and compromise the time that you could have put into your true passions. Making a do not worry list can actually help you make more space for what you care for. This list is composed of things that neither contribute to your goals or give you a strong sense of fulfillment. I need you all to take this moment. Think about what's on your do not worry list. What are the day-to-day activities that are not important to you? For me, I don't feel super satisfied after watching TV or staying up with pop culture. While I can still engage in these activities if I'd like, I choose to be intentional on how I use my time and energy working on other things that are more important to me and my goals. Now, think about how you can clear your mind and alleviate all the thoughts that you have in your head. I constantly remind myself to reflect, not stress, and do better tomorrow. Not allowing stress to overpower how I feel, look, behave, or rest has kept me from having an anxiety attack for the last 4 years. This mantra has been my blessing in disguise. Finally, think about the situations where you can take a step back and let others lead. I personally don't need to micromanage every situation or plan every event. I know when to be a supporter for others that feel strongly fulfilled when they're leading these activities. This is intentional, so I can focus on other things that I have what-ifed about. Choose what to keep and what to let go of. If you try to hold on to it all, while you may not see it, somewhere in your life you'll be giving something else up in exchange. Working tirelessly towards your goals will only exhaust you. So, let's figure out how we're going to get some rest and think about recharging our own personal rest bank. Last year, I had one of the most busiest and most eventful days of my life. On this one day, I was excited to be in New York City, guest coach a boxing class, walk New York Fashion Week, and go to a grad school reunion at the end of the night. But there were a few other things that I had to do that day too, like take a cross-country red-eye flight, find time for a short nap, scavenge for lunch, work my full-time job, think about how I should prepare, what do I need to pack for each of the events? And to be honest, staring at that schedule, I felt so overwhelmed. And I bet you've all had a day like this one where you had to juggle it all. And you might be thinking the same thing that I was at that time. How the heck am I going to pull this all off? The answer to that question came in the form of my personal rest bank. I needed to carefully plan how I'm going to pull off the rest of my ambitious dream day. I needed 4 types of rest: physical, mental, sensory, and social. Physically, I knew traveling, staying alert, and walking all over New York City would wear me out. So I slept and napped as much as I could in the days leading up to that day. Giving yourself time for your body to recoup can improve its performance on those high energy days. Mentally, I knew work would take up most of my brain capacity, and that I needed to start building small habits so I won't overexert my brain. As such, I used my calendar as a tool to block off time for continuous workflow, add in relevant logistics as they came in, and this kept me from having to strain myself, trying to remember the details of my trip, like what I needed to pack and when I had to be there. Sensorily, anybody who's been to New York City knows how much of it is a sensory overload. Not listening to music and turning off the notifications on apps that didn't serve me was essential for me to retain my calmness and composure. For others, it may be meditating or finding extended periods of quietness in their daily lives. And socially, with all the people that I was going to meet and reconnect with, I knew that leading up to this day, my introverted, extroverted self needed alone time. So when I do arrive, I can be fully present with the people that give me energy. Saying no to hangouts and events is another great way to conserve your social battery. Once my exciting day was done, I couldn't help but be so proud what my body and mind could accomplish. This day was truly a what-if moment that came to life. There's a method to this madness, and it worked for me. From improving the strength of my memory and communication skills by being a boxing coach, to getting more comfortable exploring in different concepts and types of perspectives while modeling with other creatives. These interdisciplinary interests cross-trained my mind to not only be better at what I do full-time, but be one of the best in the industry. I didn't want to accept the "you must be laser focused in order to accomplish your dream" advice. Now, I picture myself on that old living room couch, feeling angry and hopeless, while responsible. I don't think 17-year-old me would even believe what I've been able to achieve. I can't tell her to trust her gut. And I can't tell her that it is feeding by every side of herself that she'll be able to achieve amazing things. That's why I'm telling you. Balance your life's needs by using this TIP. Tip. Think of your time as currency. Integrate intentionality into your actions. Press pause to recharge your power bank. Then you'll have the energy, creativity, and power to create the opportunities you've been what-ifing about. Thank you.